Hello.
What's up, folks? Welcome to today's Midday Motivation. That first lady keeps moving up. We got the same shirt on, bro.
Oh, we serve.
That's good.
I serve.
I would actually.
We also.
We serve.
Dancing
I
for
serve.
him.
You serve?
Dancing for him.
Dancing for him.
Who's him?
Jesus.
Jesus.
Okay. Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to today's Midday Motivation. If you're determined you have a productive Wednesday, go ahead and put a boom in the comment feed. We have already begun productiveness for today, haven't we, babe?
Very productive.
Very productive.
Depressingly productive.
It's important for families to sit around the table and talk about finances.
Ooh, Lord.
Outstanding. Miss Dawn. Oh, boy.
Hey, Dawn. I haven't seen your name for a while, but I haven't been on for a while.
Yeah, this is her first day. This is her Monday for Midday Motivation.
Yes.
But it's Wednesday for the rest of us. Miss Dawn, put your information back up. I think you said you're going to be at the Price Right Shopping Center on Saturday again. For a certain time doing some ministry. Put that up there so people can know. Also, please feel free to share this with your friends and followers and all of whom that are in your circles.
And you, Amy.
Cool. We are walking through the book of Job, and we have arrived in chapter 29. We're in chapter 29. And at this point, Job has gone on a discourse. Job has talked about integrity. He's talked about wisdom. He's talked about the fact that I don't care what y'all say, that I know I haven't done anything wrong, even though Bildad in 20, he's talked about man's futility and God's majesty. Why do I want to say that? Wow. Okay. So make sure you all read in the comments. Miss Dawn just put up some information. Cool. They're going to be doing some Love Out Loud type ministry things this weekend and in the month of November, as I kind of skimmed that.
Yes. She's doing a laundromat Love Out Loud. She's collected hats, gloves. Yeah, 53 hats, 40 blankets, 53 gloves, 100 emergency shelter blankets. November 14th, they're doing a laundromat Love Out Loud.
Got it. Okay, cool. Outstanding. All right.
Good morning, Miss Beverly.
Good morning,
Sister Doris.
Miss Doris and Miss
Teresa.
All right, we're in. So in the end of chapter 28 is what Job says, verse 28, chapter 28, verse 28. And to man, he said, talking about God said, behold, the fear or reverence of the Lord that is wisdom. And to depart from evil is understanding. Chapter 29 is where Job basically gives a summary of everything he has said. And so some of it will seem redundant. And like I said yesterday, we didn't hit every verse, but we'll look at some of them. And then, so this is really chapters 29 and chapters 30 and 31, where Job kind of just began speaking. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all everything that I need to tell y'all. That's all I can stand, and I can't stand no more. Okay, so get in chapter 29. Job further continued his discourse and said, oh, that I were as in months past, as in the days when God watched over me, when his lamp shone upon my head, and when by his light I walked through darkness, just as I was in the days of my prime, or in the days of my youth, or in the prime of my adulthood, if you will. When the friendly counsel of God was over my tent, when the Almighty was yet with me, when my children were around me, when my steps were bathed with cream, or my steps were wonderful, or my steps were lush and lavish. Steps were good. My steps were bathed with cream, and the rock poured out rivers of oil for me. Now, this is where Job is. Oh, if I was in that place, if I was back there where I was. All right. That's really where I would really enjoy. That's where I wish I was there. It's like when someone is in a tough place and they're saying, I wish I was back in that place where things were good and things were going well in my life. We're going to skip down to verse 21. It says, men listened to me and waited and kept silence for my counsel. After my words, they did not speak again, and my speech settled on them as dew. They waited for me as for the rain, and they opened their mouth wide as for the spring rain. If I mocked at them, they did not believe it. Now his if has been added for our English understanding, and so he's basically saying, I haven't done this, and in the light of my countenance, they did not cast down. I chose the way for them and sat as chief. So I dwelt as a king in the army, as one who comforts mourners. Continues on into chapter 30. But now they mock at me, men younger than I, insinuating and talking about these three friends who are with him. They're younger than him. He has had a fruitful life. He's had a life of not a life of luxury, but he's dealing with these guys who are mocking him. And so he's I'm not in a good place. I'm not where I was before. Indeed, it says, but now they mock at me, men younger than I, whose fathers I disdain to put with the dogs of my flock. You all, this is where we're kind of getting into some things of where, I don't like y'all. This is the way you're kind of saying it. We're going to slide down to verse 15. Verse 15, it says, terrors are turned upon me. They pursue my honor as the wind. They pursue my honor as the wind, and my prosperity has passed like a cloud. So you're pursuing me like you pursue the wind. Well, how many of us pursue the wind? You ever go chasing after the wind?
No, but Bubbles does.
Oh, Jesus help us. Yes. Okay. And so, verse 19. Skip down to verse 19. He, God, has cast me into the mire, and I have become like dust and ashes. And Job is beginning to talk to God. Look at verse 20. I cry out to you, God, and you do not answer me. I stand up and you regard me, but you have become cruel to me. With the strength of your hand, you oppose me. Job is not, this is where from here we're going to see Job is going to finish saying what he's saying at the end of chapter 31. But a lot of what he's saying now, he's projecting it or saying it to God. Like, I hate to say it this way. I've been good. I'm upright. I haven't done anything. And now this is all coming upon me. I cry out to you and you ain't said nothing. You ain't said a thing. God. Let's keep going. Now we're going to go verse 24. Surely he would not stretch out his hand against a heap of ruins if they cry out when he destroys it. So if God destroys it, if you destroy a thing, are you going to build it back up? That's what he's thinking. He's thinking he's being destroyed, but he's not, right? He's not being destroyed, but his mind, because of the pain, because of the anguish, because of everything, he thinks I'm being destroyed. Chapter 31. Chapter 31. Thank you, tablet. Verse 5. Chapter 31, verse 5. It says, if I have walked with falsehood, or if my foot has hastened to deceit, let me be weighed on honest scales. We're going to go all the way down to 14. Let me be weighed on honest scales, that God may know my integrity. If my step has turned from the way, or my heart walked after my eyes, or if any spot adheres to my hands, then let me sow and another eat. Yes, let my harvest be rooted out. I don't deserve it. If I've done what's wrong, I don't deserve good. That's get that. If my heart has been enticed by a woman, or if I lurked at my neighbor's door, talking about adultery, then let my wife grind for another. Let my life desire for someone else, and let others bow down over her. Let's keep going. For that would be wickedness. Yes, it would be iniquity, deserving of judgment. For that would be a fire that consumes to destruction and would root out all my increase. If I have despised the cause of my male or female servant when they complain against me, what then shall I do when God raises up? When he punishes, how shall I answer him? So if God is he's saying, if God is doing this, I can't say nothing. Again, you're God and I'm not. Verse 16. If I have kept the poor from their desire, or caused the eyes of a widow to fail, or eaten my morsel by myself so that the fathers could not eat of it, but from my youth I reared him as a father, and from my mother's womb I guided the widow. So I haven't done these things that these guys are suggesting that I've done. I haven't done any of it. Verse 19, if I had seen anyone perish for lack of clothing, or any poor man without covering, if his heart has not blessed me, and if he was not warned with the fleece of my sheep, if I have raised my hands against the fatherless, when I saw I had help in the gate, then let my arm fall from my shoulder, let my arm be torn from the socket. God, if you're sending me help and I pushed away the help, then I deserve. I'm getting what I deserve. Let my arm be taken away. She's here to help me, and if she's pass me this pen. She's passing me the pen, and I push it away. Then I deserve not to be able to write. Makes sense, right? I'm trying to help you. You're trying to lift up a box, and I'm coming to help you. No, I got it. Okay, you throw your back out. You deserved it, right? He's saying, God, if you gave me help and I didn't take it, I'm deserving what I get. For destruction from God, verse 23, for destruction from God is a terror to me, and because of his magnificence, I cannot endure. If I have made gold my hope, or said to find gold, you are my confidence. If I have rejoiced because my wealth was great, and because my hand had gained much, if I had observed the sun when it shines, or the moon moving in brightness, so that my heart has been secretly enticed, and my mouth has kissed my hand, this also would be an iniquity deserving of judgment. For I would have denied God who is above. So if I gave all of my reverence and honor to things, I'm dishonoring you, God. Absolutely, Job. Absolutely. Verse 29, if I have rejoiced at the destruction, of him who hated me, or lifted myself up when the evil found him, indeed, I have not allowed my mouth to sin by asking for a curse on my soul. If the man of my tent have not said, who is there that has not been satisfied with his meat? But no sojourner had to lodge in the street. For I have opened my doors to the traveler. He's saying, I'm upright. I've done what's right. I've helped the needy. I've helped the poor. I've clothed the naked. I've done the things that I'm supposed to do. If I have covered, verse 33, if I've covered my transgressions as Adam, and by hiding my iniquity in my bosom, and remember, we're looking in the book of Genesis. It's a reference back to Adam, which is why that verse says, it kind of debunks when people say this happened. It's an allegory that happened before Adam was created. That makes no sense, because who's the first person created? Adam, right? And therefore Job wouldn't exist. Right? So some people say, oh, it's older than Genesis. No, it can't be older than Genesis. The recording of it might have been older than the recording of Genesis, but it's not older than Genesis. And some people even suggested that it's not even real. So, Why? Because verse 34, because I feared the great multitude and declared, and it's dark, and dreaded the contempt of famines, but I'm highlighted in my Bible, not on my tablet. And dreaded the contempt of famines, so that I kept silence and did not go out of the door. Oh, that I had one to hear me. Here is my mark. What's your mark, Job? Oh, that the Almighty would answer me, that my prosecutor had written a book. Now, this is written right here. And at that time, of course, it hadn't been written, but he's saying that all of these things I'm going through would be written down in a book so somebody else would know. That if the story ever comes out and they say Job dealt with all of this stuff and all of these things happened, as people would know that while they said that I was wicked, they would know that I'm telling them I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not a wicked man. Surely, verse 36, I would carry it on my shoulder. So if he had it, I'm bringing this. So when y'all say what y'all saying, no. Let me pull it up in my app. See that right there? I ain't
Got the receipt.
Right, I got the receipts, exactly. Surely I would carry it on my shoulder and bind it on me like a crown. I'd keep it with me at all times, and nobody would be able to take it away from me. I would declare to him, to God, the number of my steps. Like a prince, I would approach him. A prince approaches a king proudly because he knows he is the heir to the throne and he's going to his father. So here's a reference to what the book of Hebrews says, how we boldly come to the throne of grace where we may find strength and grace to help in our time of need. All right. Verse 38, if my land cries out against me and its furrows weep together, if I have eaten its fruit without money, I stole, or caused its owners to lose their lives, then let thistles grow instead of wheat and weeds instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. At this moment, Job has nothing else to say. He has said everything he wants to say. When chapter 32 comes in, and we'll get there tomorrow, we got a brand new guy that steps in and begins to speak and begins to kind of bring some balance to the discourse that we've heard up until this point. But Job again has not done anything wrong, has not sinned in the sight of God, has not been wicked, has not done the things that his friends are suggesting he has done. But he's a man of God. He's an upright man of God. And when you and I go through troubles and trials, don't begin to think, well, I did this, so now God is getting me back. That's not how God operates. That's not the way it works. All right. There are consequences to, there are consequences to every action, whether positive or negative. There are always consequences. Well, what's the consequence for paying your bills on time? Keeping your stuff, good credit, whatever else, right? What's the consequences for not paying your bills on time? Repossession, bad credit, not keeping stuff, right? So there are consequences to everything. What's the consequence to loving your wife with all that you have? It's her loving you back with all that she has. We didn't rehearse that. And so there is the first 31 chapters of the book of Job. Tomorrow, we will come back on the next episode. We will come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for beginning with chapter 32 to see what Elihu says about the situation. All right. We'll be back on tomorrow at 11. Don't forget on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 12 noon. We're done at 12 noon. We will be handing out communion as well as Sunday school booklets for the next quarter. Of course, the next quarter does not begin until December, but we want you to have your book so you can study, because Sunday school matters. Sunday school matters. All right. So make sure you're there. For those of you that are coming to morning worship, and I pray that many of you come to morning worship, there's a seat for you. There's room for you. Okay, so in case you're thinking, well, it's probably no room, I probably just that. No. There's room for
There
you.
was a socially distanced seat just for you.
Just for you. And there's a place for you. So come on out at the 8 o'clock service or the 11 o'clock service. Either one. Doors open at 7:30 and doors open at 10:30 respectively. Of course, we have the two services so we can clean up things prior to and prior to each service, of course, in between, of course. But we want you to join us in worship. All right. For those of you that are coming to worship, you don't have to come out on Saturday to pick up those items. You can pick them up on Sunday when you come to worship, as you grab your communion as you're on your way in, and be seated in your seat, directed and seated in your seat. And then we will begin worship at the 8 o'clock and the 11 o'clock hours. All right. Don't forget, Covenant Keepers, make sure you RSVP in reference to the outdoor event.
And if you did not get an Evite already, shoot me an email and I will respond with the Evite.
Her email is on the
So
screen.
you can join us November the 6th at 7:10 for our hayride bonfire at Springdale Farms. The information and cost is on the Evite. It's $38 per couple, not per person, per couple. And we're just going to have a really good time by the bonfire, socially distanced outside, because we're concerned about your safety. You are that important to us.
And we want to love our neighbors.
That's right.
I know was something else. I can't remember what it was. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to be that because I can't remember. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us and being with us. Remember this, we love you.
And you can't do a thing about it.
All right. Grace and peace. Have a great day. Bye-bye.